Much talked about Mahatturi Raksol Amlekganj petroleum pipeline project has been completed ahead of the scheduled deadline, which in itself could be a surprise to many as we are more prone to see a series of projects suffering from lengthy delays. With its official inauguration scheduled coming August, Nepal is sure to reduce the transport cost and other import-related charges on petroleum products. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. Let's begin with the top stories this hour. The anti-grab body all geared up to file a case in the now infamous Lalita Niwas land in the capital's Balwatar. The Mahatturi Raksol Amlekganj petroleum pipeline starts supplying petroleum products. The project to reduce transport cost and other import-related expenses. Most parts of United States reeling under extreme hot weather with temperatures set to peak over the weekend according to meteorologists in America. And Algeria lived their second African Cup of Nations title with a clinical 1-0 win over Senegal. Let's begin with national political updates. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority is all geared up to file a case in the now infamous Lalita Niwas land in the capital's Balwatar. It had been revealed that the government land in Lalita Niwas had been transferred into the names of private individuals through a nexus involving land mafias, government officials and senior political leaders a few months ago. The Commission has started taking statements from suspected individuals linked to the scandal. A spokesperson for the anti-grab body, Pradeep Koirala, has said the authority has expedited the process of taking statements and that it would file a case against the guilty sooner than later. The 113 rupees of land is one among many areas of land that was acquired by the government and was illegally transferred to private individuals through a nexus with land mafias. The special committee formed to probe into the case had revealed the involvement of government officials and senior political leaders in the multi-billion rupees transfer deal. The authority has already summoned the former Chief Commissioner Deep Basnet and taken his statement. The government had acquired the Lalita Niwas land 55 years ago. Several sections of the land has been used for the office of the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, the Speaker and for the headquarters of the Central Bank. All the transport committees of the country have announced their conversion into a company. The umbrella organization of all the transport committees, the Federation of Nepalese National Transport Entrepreneurs Association, announced that the former committees have been converted to a company at a program in Kathmandu yesterday. However, the government has decided to hand over the assets of the committee, which earlier was registered as a social organization but was established to operate syndicate in transport sector. Since it was a social organization, the assets were to be nationalized, but the government has flouted existing laws while giving the decision of handing over the assets. As per the Organization Registration Act, it is categorically mentioned that if a social organization is dissolved, all the properties would be transferred to the Nepal government. Under the same law, the transport committees that had been registered as a non-government organization were scrapped while the bank accounts were freezed. The committee used to charge 1 million to 1.5 million rupees just to give entry to new vehicles to operate under the routes, and the amount was used to run the syndicate. After the dissolution of the committees, their properties should have been nationalized. However, the frozen bank accounts were secretly released last September. The scenario greatly favors the transport company, which earlier in the name of transport committees had run syndicate system, as there is a general call to thoroughly investigate the case. The Mahatturi Raksol Amlekganj petroleum pipeline project has started supplying petroleum products to Nepal. With the completion of the pipeline project, it is sure to significantly reduce transport cost and other import-related expenses. The much-touted project had started in December 2018 with a deadline to complete the project in 30 months. The project was overseen by Indian contractors and interestingly got completed much ahead of the deadline. As the project has been completed and is awaiting its inauguration, Nepal will officially start fuel trade with India via the pipeline after the formal inauguration in August. The oil pipeline was first proposed in 1996, but the project edged closer to reality during Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Nepal in 2014. The project got delayed due to the 2015 April earthquake. And now time for international update. Extremely hot weather has started to hit most of the United States, with temperatures set to peak over the weekend, according to meteorologists in America. The heat wave could affect about 200 million people in major cities like New York, Washington and Boston in the East Coast and the Midwest region too. In some places, temperatures could be close to or exceed 38 degrees Celsius. Parts of Canada are also being hit. Experts link more frequent heat waves in recent years to climate change. The world experienced its hottest June on record this year, with an average temperature worldwide of 61.6 Fahrenheit, according to new data. Earlier this month, the U.S. state of Alaska, part of which lies inside the Arctic Circle, registered record high temperatures. The heat wave is hitting an area stretching from the central plains of Colorado and Kansas to the Great Lakes in the northeast. Temperatures are also rising in most areas of the East Coast. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio declared a local emergency due to the extreme heat in the city. The Municipality Association is currently busy in preparing a 5-year plan, and in this context, we had asked the participants attending the Strategic Assembly in Kavre what type of strategies are necessary for the overall development of all municipalities across the country. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
आधारभूत आवश्यकता परिपूर्ति गर्नका लागि हामीले ग्रामीण र शहरी क्षेत्रलाई जोडेर गाउँ नगर साझेदारीको आधारलाई चाहिँ हामीले मानेर योजना तर्जुमा गर्नुपर्छ।
नगरपालिकाका मिनिमम मापदण्डहरू के हुन् त्यसलाई आधार मानेर बनाउनु पर्छ भन्ने कुरा लाग्छ।
जनताको मौलिक हकहरूलाई कार्यान्वयनमा जानु पर्यो।
नेताहरूको आधारमा मेरो जिल्लालाई कतिवटा नगरपालिका बनाउने, मलाई यो नगरपालिका बनाउँदा प्लस माइनस के छ भन्ने सम्भवतः यस्ता कुराको आधारमा नगरपालिकाहरू घोषणा गरिएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि जुन किसिमको एउटा इन्डिकेटरहरू हुनुपर्ने त्यो इन्डिकेटरहरू भएको छैन।
कतिपय नगरपालिकाहरू नगरपालिकाको रूपमा मात्रै घोषित भएका छन् र धेरै सेवा सुविधाहरूबाट वञ्चित छन्। विकास निर्माण धेरै गर्नुपर्ने छ।
शहरलाई सांस्कृतिक रूपमा जीवन्त कसरी राख्ने, वातावरण र पर्यावरणीय हिसाबले कसरी सन्तुलित राख्ने र आर्थिक केन्द्रको रूपमा कसरी विकास गर्ने भन्ने कुरालाई नै प्रमुख रूपमा ध्यान दिनुपर्छ।
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on electricity poles being provided for advertisement? Your options are A, misuse of public asset, option B, nexus business, and option C, ploy to garner resources. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And with that, it's now time for sports update.
Sports news.
Team Nepal have completed their training for the upcoming ICC T20 Global Qualifiers. Following 2 weeks of training in Nepal, the team had reached Malaysia for a 10-day stint where it played 2 T20 international against the Malaysian national team. Nepal is the top team in the ICC T20 World Cup Asian Region Qualifiers. Nepal had first participated in the 2014 T20 World Cup. However, Nepal failed to qualify in the next edition of T20 World Cup. Nepal now should make use of the upcoming tournament to make it to the next T20 World Cup.
Somewhere we are on not the best side because everybody expects us to win, and even if we win, we won't get much credit because we are expected to win all the time. So
Nepal will be up against host Singapore, Kuwait, Qatar and Malaysia. Nepal begins the tournament by taking on Qatar in their first match on 23rd of July. The tournament kicks off on 22nd of July with matches between Singapore and Qatar, followed by Kuwait versus Malaysia encounter. And it's now time for our daily special segment, Media Watch.
Based on the data provided by the Home Ministry and an update made Friday morning, the death toll from the floods and landslides triggered by incessant rainfall across the country since last week reached 90, and 29 people are still reported missing. According to the Home Ministry, more than 3,000 victims have been relocated to safe locations and more than 17,000 families from 31 worst-hit districts have been displaced by the floods and landslides. Vehicular traffic on various highways and roads across the country was also halted due to the obstructions caused by the floods and landslides. While the government's relief efforts reached many of the affected areas, shortages of emergency materials including clean drinking water, medicines, tents, food, among other items were experienced in other affected areas. Despite the lapse of more than a week, majority of the victims in rural parts of one of the worst-hit districts, Rohtahat, have not received emergency relief materials yet. Around 400 families in Badarhawa of Durga Bhagwati rural municipality of Rohtahat district are compelled to go without food since the mayhem struck their village. These genuine flood victims who lost their homes and family members in some cases have been spending days under tents, while those with access to power have been availing themselves of relief items. This clearly shows that the government is still lagging behind in disaster management. The Tribhuvan International Airport remained closed throughout the day on 12th of July last Friday due to the hassles in removing a Yeti Airlines aircraft that veered off the runway. As many as 11,000 passengers were stranded and failed to reach their destinations due to the suspension of domestic and international flights at the country's only international airport. The airport remained closed from 11 in the morning until 7 in the evening. The airport administration issued a notice to announce the shutdown of the airport as 7 international flights were diverted to New Delhi and Dhaka. Likewise, 6 international flights were cancelled. The airport suspended its flights after the Yeti Airlines aircraft could not be removed from the runway. All the 68 passengers on board the aircraft along with its crew members escaped without any major injury. Operations at the Tribhuvan International Airport resumed after the aircraft was removed from the runway following 8 hours of effort. This is Bipasha Tamang for Kantipur News Desk.
And those were our latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KDVSD. Good day.